And I know there's money out there. I know there are people who are going to donate. And Lee's daughter attended Crockett Elementary's early education program. And, this is what our community is about. That's why I love Brentwood. We are such a giving community, and we all work together. And if you want to talk to me about helping with marketing and working with Michael and I in our committee or sponsorship with Lee, we are just ready to take your donations.
Thank you so much. Welcome, welcome. Thank you. Yes. Yes. All right. Few announcements before we continue on. This is today, the last day to get your early bird pricing on registration for Rotary International's convention to be held online June 12th through the 16th. If you register by today, it's $49. By tomorrow, it goes up to $65. So if you'd like to attend Rotary International's convention today, $49. Also today, we have kind of a second chance. I thought we had a deadline. The deadline's been moved back just a bit. If you are still interested in attending Roger Wheelwright services at Arlington National Cemetery in July the 14th, we do need to know that no later than May the 10th. And you need to send a picture. You can send it to me and I'll forward it on to Irene. They do need a picture for Arlington to let you in. I'm going. Who's coming with me? All right. Now, guess what time it is? Jennifer knows because she's cackling. It's trivia time. Pause for applause. I thought so. I thought so. All right. So you guys know by now how this works, but just for the Chuck Blackburns of the world, I'll go ahead and tell you the rules once again. We have two teams. We have the in-person attending team. That's you, if you're in person. We have the Zoom attending team. How many of you guys are there today? Well, it doesn't matter. Jason Hulse is there, so you're good. Okay. We're competing against each other, in-person versus Zoom. I'm going to give in-person a question. They get to answer. And then I'm going to give Zoom a different question. You get to answer. We go back and forth. You get a point for each correct answer. You get flogged for each incorrect answer. And at the end, we'll see who wins. You get nothing for your efforts, by the way. There are no prizes. In-person team. In 1976, the United States celebrated its bicentennial. Ted Turner purchased the Atlanta Braves for $12 million, bargain of the century. The Ford Pinto and Chrysler Cordoba were the two top-selling automobiles in the United States. And Millard and Linda Fuller started this home building organization. Name that organization. Jonathan Merck is going to give us our answer.
Habitat for Humanity.
That is correct, Jonathan. Habitat for Humanity. All right, Zoom. What reboot of a classic 1980s, 90s TV sitcom combines that organization's finished product with its founder's last name? I should probably read that one more time. What reboot of a classic 80s, 90s TV sitcom combines Habitat's finished product with its founder's last name?
Fuller House.
Fuller House. Jason pulls it out of nowhere. That's right. All right, one to one. Person, as part of that aforementioned bicentennial celebration in 1976, George Washington was posthumously given this honor. What was he honored with in 1976, posthumously? 5, 4, 3. George Washington. 2. General founder of our country. one of the founders. A monument? A monument? No, but probably. There probably was one. What we were looking for is he was promoted posthumously to the rank of 6-star general. That is the thing. All right. Back to Zoom. We've got another year we're talking about now. 1984 was the year Los Angeles hosted the Summer Olympics. Joe Kittinger became the first person to complete a transatlantic flight in a helium balloon. Indira Gandhi was assassinated, and this former presidential couple volunteered for their very first habitat build in America's Georgia. What was this former presidential couple? Zoom.
Carter.
The Carters.
That is correct. Jimmy and Rosalind Carter. Very nice, very nice. In person. 2-1 now. How many habitat builds have the Carters been a part of since 1984? Using the Google would be permissible. How many habitat builds have the Carters been a part of since 1984, their first one? We'll accept anything within 1,000. That is incorrect. That is incorrect. 4,300 is a correct answer. That is an acceptable correct answer. 4,300 habitat builds Jimmy and Rosalind Carter have been involved in. 21 of them, by the way, in Nashville, 2019, when Jimmy was the spry age of 95. What current Rotary Club president's wife originally hails from the aforementioned host city of the 1984 Olympics, Los Angeles? Zoom? What current Rotary Club of Brentwood's president's wife?
Who is Mrs. Keeley Hall?
That is correct, Drew Rogers. Very nice. All right. I think we have 3-2. So here's your chance in person. We're going to give you 2 points for a correct answer here. You can snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. Habitat, of course, builds houses. Houses are, generally speaking, framed with lumber. What is the current cost of a single framing stud in Brentwood, Tennessee? What's the current cost of a single framing stud in Brentwood, Tennessee? We will accept any answer between $8 and $1 million because that is correct. It was $8 when I wrote this. It is now $1 million. You are absolutely right. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, you may have guessed by now what our speaker is coming here to speak about and who our speaker is. But just in case you are still wondering, Jennifer Shepard will come up and introduce today's speaker.
Thank you. I'm blowing up my text on my phone as big as I can because I'm too vain to wear my readers with all of you guys. So today I'm here to introduce my friend Becket Moore. He is the president and CEO of Habitat for Humanity of Williamson, Murray County, which is notably separate and distinguished from Habitat for Humanity of Greater Nashville. Williamson and Murray is a separate standalone entity. He's been there for 8 years. He started his career in the for-profit sector as a franchise consultant for a nationwide outreach program. He grew to be a regional manager and later a vice president of operations there. But it did require constant travel, and he had young children at the time. So that eventually led him to reconsider his career path, which led him into the world of nonprofits. He worked at the vice president of operations and finance at Chiefwood before he was called over to Habitat for Humanity of Williamson. After college, Becket went on to get his MBA, and then he recently enrolled in University of Southern California for his doctorate of education for leadership and management, and that starts next week, right? very imminent. He grew up in Brentwood. Not a whole lot of Brentwood natives around Brentwood anymore. He actually grew up here, still lives here. Oh, it got small again. Okay, he still lives here with his wife of 30 years, Jill, and they have 3 children, 2 grown boys and 1 daughter who is in 11th grade. I have personally known Becket for about 6 to 7 years through Habitat for Humanity. He has grown our local affiliate exponentially during his tenure here. Each Habitat affiliate is run independently like a small company or a franchise. His leadership balances all the many different aspects of Habitat because Habitat has a very unique and I'll just say weird business model. It's actually several different businesses rolled into one. It is, as a nonprofit, there's of course a fundraising need. It's a real estate acquisition company, it's a construction company, it's a mortgage company, and it's also a retail store. And that's a lot to juggle and manage. And Becket flawlessly manages and juggles all of this while developing a strong and dedicated team and still being one of the wisest and brightest people. So thank you for being here and welcome. More.
Wow. Thank you. That's embarrassing, actually. Up here and, you know, nice things are said about you. How often does that happen, right? 2000, we were mentioning 2019 when President Carter came, by the way. And I went to see him at the Ryman that year when he spoke. And I don't know if you saw him on the news, but he had an eye patch on. Did you see that? He actually fell at his home the morning of and still trekked all the way down here just to be at the builds here in Nashville. So he is, a lot of folks think he's the founder of Habitat, but as you just heard before, he is not, but he is the most well-known person, obviously, that Habitat's ever known. So yes, I've been in Nashville, Nashville. I was born in Nashville, but I was raised in Brentwood. My parents actually moved here in 1978. So for those that have been in Brentwood that long, it was really Maryland Farms at that time. And so I've seen it grow. I went to college in other places, but came back to live here. My family still lives here in River Oaks. So I remember, just speaking of Habitat, our houses now, just for instance, sell, and we do sell our houses to as affordable homes to qualified homeowners, but they're running anywhere from between $200,000 and $300,000. That's in Williamson County. When my folks bought a house in 1978 in River Oaks, it was $107,000 back then. So quite a big difference between homes now and then. But once again, I'm with Habitat for Humanity, and we use this term a lot. We use partnership a lot. We provide a partnership and give families a hand up. A lot of folks think we give those houses away, but we don't. We actually sell those houses to needy families at an affordable rate, as you'll see in a little bit. But who we are Habitat Williamson Murray. About 6 or so years ago, we merged with Murray County. We actually have 5 counties that we serve. So we serve Williamson County, Murray County, Hickman, Lawrence, and Decatur counties. But currently, we're only building in Williamson and Murray. Faith-based nonprofit organization. And as Jennifer said, we do a lot of different things, not just build the homes, but we actually provide the mortgages as well. Why? As you can imagine, for those of you who have been in Williamson County a while, the home prices here, I think it's gone up since this slide was actually done. $555,000. I'd like to buy a house here for $555,000 myself, but that's all over Williamson County. As you can tell, a lot of folks that work here can't afford that. They can't live here. As you can see, what HUD defines as a renter household at 30% or more of gross income. So that's, how many folks can really afford to be in Williamson County with only 30% of their income being divided up to their mortgages? I think that number is probably a little low too. $1,335 for an apartment in Franklin. Probably more like $1,800 to $2,000 if you want a 2-bedroom apartment in Franklin now. And we household making less than $4,000 a month is considered overburdened with this that type of rental amount. So you can tell there's a huge need in this area for affordable housing. So we help Habitat homeowners achieve the stability and self-reliance they need to be successful in their lives. Not only do we provide the house for them, but you think about it, it's generational. Their kids are going to good schools, they are being raised in a safe environment, and they can go on. And also, it's an asset for those folks, for the homeowners to leave to their children. Families, here's a little indication of what we do for the families and what they're required to do for the program. So they do have to come up with $2,000 closing costs. And if you've closed a house anytime in the near future, you know $2,000 is a bargain. They do put in sweat equity. So they are working on their house and then working on other folks' houses too. So we have a neighborhood going on in, let's say, Fairview. They are putting their sweat equity and they're on other people's home builds as well, putting in those hours, them friends, their families and whatnot. They do attend budget coaching classes too. So a lot of these homeowners, a lot of our homeowners who have gone into the program, they might have tried 2 or 3 times to get into the program and have not made it. And maybe the 3rd or 4th time they do make it. And by the time they actually are beginning the house or even closing the house, many times they're debt free. There's quite a few stories I can tell you of just debt free people going into our houses, which how many of us could even say that? Mortgages, as Jennifer said, we are a mortgage company as well. We do offer the mortgages to our families at 0%. That's the big kicker. So where can you get a mortgage at 30 years at 0%? So a lot of these families are paying anywhere from, I've seen mortgages, believe it or not, it's been a while, but at $300 or $400 a month. Right now they're closer to $1,000, but still you can't even get an apartment for $1,000. So yes, we do offer very affordable homes. As I mentioned, we build in Williamson County, Murray County. Right now we're finishing up a subdivision in Fairview called Willowcrest. We'll be done with that this season. And then we're going to move to Murray County and build a few homes, and then we're back to Williamson County, probably in Fairview. We're always looking for places to build in Franklin. It's gotten very, very tough to find land in Franklin, as you can imagine, to be able to make these homes affordable for people. I'm really proud of the way our houses look. I think way back when, I used to think of a Habitat house as just sort of a little, box house. Actually, they're more like little cottages. There's something that you might think of when you think of a Disney movie, to tell the truth. They're craftsman style homes. We go 3, 4, or even we're actually starting one now that's 5 bedrooms. So they have 4 kids and they take care of their grandchildren as well. So we do offer 3, 4, 5 bedrooms, 2 baths. They do come with the appliances, refrigerators. It's the homeowners get to pick out their carpet, their linoleum, and things like that. And they are Energy Star certified. So we do go through the whole program to make sure that when they get into the house, they can afford their AC and heat. Funds. Obviously, we have to raise funds to build these houses. And you can imagine, it says here, HFHM, that's us, looks to raise $70,000 for each home. Well, there's no way $70,000 pays for an entire home, right? So that amount actually goes directly to the materials and the labor of the home. We have volunteers on the home, but we also have to pay for HVAC people, roof people, truss people, things like that to actually build the components of the home that our volunteers can't build. So we do need to raise $70,000. We talked about the price of lumber. That figure has gone up, obviously, for us because the lumber prices have tripled over the past several years, essentially. They used to be able to buy a 2x4 for $2, not anymore. But yes, we do try to raise $70,000 for each home that we build. Friends, it's the F of Habitat. So we do ask folks in the community, whether they're businesses, individuals, churches, civic groups, to actually come out and help us on the house. So 70% of this work is through volunteer labor. Volunteers are painting the house. They're doing trimming. They're raising walls. They're doing just a tremendous amount of work on the house. Right here you can see, and I'm going to show you a video it's an old video, but it's one of my favorites, about high school kids, oh, kids, I'm old enough to do that, kids that are coming out to build on our homes. So we have college kids, we have high schools around the community that come out and help build the home. It's called Habitat High. I don't know why I'm pulling. Ready? Ooh. So build day, it's not easy. I mean, volunteerism is, you do go out there and you do work, which there's a huge feeling of accomplishment. Our volunteers just, they rant and rave about the experience. But it does start fairly early and goes till 4 o'clock. So, you know, we do have, we are a faith-based organization, so we do have, you know, the blessings in the morning, and we go through the day and work all day and have lunch and have a good time out there. But whether you have experience doing this or not, we have folks that are carpenters that come out there and help us out that have a lot of experience. And we have folks that just have never picked up a hammer before. But we have our own crew, and we have crew leaders who are experienced volunteers that help everyone. So don't be afraid if you're nervous about coming out on site and you want to, we can teach how to do it. Crew leaders, these are for people that are experienced, that want to learn more about habitat. They can come out and actually lead groups after a while, and that really helps us out because we're a construction company basically, and we build houses, but we don't have 10, 15 folks on our staff that help us out. So we rely a lot on volunteers that really want to come out once or twice a week and help lead crews. So this is a really important part of what we do. How to sign up, obviously, you can go to our website, hfhwm.org, or Habitat for Humanity Williamson Murray. You can sign up as a volunteer if you want to donate. There's donate pages. If you have work for a company or business, have a church association that wants to be involved, let me know. Go to the website. I have cards on me. You can call me and please get involved. COVID has been a tough time for everybody. We've had a tough time with it. We've gotten through it pretty well, but as you can imagine, we haven't had volunteers for a while. We're just getting volunteers back. Our groups have been small. We started out with 10. We're actually moving up. We usually have 25 on site, but we're just starting up with volunteers. Went a whole year without volunteers. So our costs obviously have gone up this past year, and things have gotten expensive. So lumber is just outrageous, and building costs and subs, and so we're plugging away. But if you do know anybody that wants to help, please let us know. We'll always find a place for that. Tithe, that's me a couple of years ago, but that's us, and we tithe. So Habitat Williamson Murray is a separate entity. We have our own board of directors, which Jennifer's on, and used to be the chair of the board as well. We have our own board of directors, and we tithe, though, to Habitat International. And we designate where we want those funds to go. So we can have, when we build a house here, so when a sponsor builds a house here, they're actually building a house someplace else too. That happens to be Cambodia, that's Vietnam right there. And we took a group of folks, and we do that every year for the past 3 or 4 years, where we'll go to the country that we're tithing to and actually help build the house. So the families up front, and some of those are our staff members. We've had board members go, crew leaders, just different folks go and help build the house someplace else. So I'm not sure we're going to go this year, but we've been to Kenya, Cambodia, Vietnam, Guatemala, and built houses all over the place. Just our affiliate too. So it's pretty rewarding. But any questions so far? I want to show you a video before we go. Any questions on Habitat? Yes, sir. Good question. There is an application process. So if somebody, a lot of it's word of mouth, we do a lot of advertising and marketing, but a person that wants to apply for a house can either go on our website, or we can send them a pre-app. And the pre-app just gives the basic qualifications for a house, which is they have to actually need it. from a safety standpoint, from their current accommodations have to sort of justify their need for a house. They have to be able to afford the payments on the house. There are payments on the house, and they have to be willing to go through our program, which is the budget classes and all of that, and be a part of the bill. So if they agree to all that, they meet the financial qualifications, they would go on to a full app. We do credit checks, and we do checks on their employment, make sure they can afford it. They go through all of that. It could take a year, but they go through all of that and enter our program. And depending on where they live, if they want to live in Columbia or they want to live in Fairview or Williamson County, that might take a little bit longer. We have a family right now that's having a house built in Columbia that's been waiting 2 years. So there's a wait for the houses, but we do the best we can to get everybody in there. But they can only build so many, and there are a lot of folks that are applying. Yes, sir. Huge challenge. Yeah, it's land. Land in Williamson County is the biggest challenge. Hiring good construction folks is a big challenge too, because you can imagine the construction industry and how much they pay. But fortunately, when I first started about 8 years ago, that was a huge priority for me. It was to buy land. So I spent 2 years acquiring as much land as possible. So now we're okay. We have about 100 lots. We build anywhere from 15 to 20 years. So we're okay for 4 or 5 years. I'm always looking. We used to buy lots that were already ready to build. Well, you can't find that anymore. So we actually buy raw land and try to build on that. So we have 3 or 4 pieces of 12 to 15 acre parcels right now that we're going to be developing the next year. That's a tough one. I go online and look every day, and you have to have the cash to buy it too, because just like houses, it goes fast. I bought 2 lots in Columbia. I closed on them yesterday, actually. They went above asking, which never happens. But yeah, even lots in the middle of Columbia go above asking. Any other questions? Cool. Yes, sir. Oh, yes, sir. Yeah, that's a good multi-unit housing is become sort of a necessity for the habitats. You can get a few more houses per lot. We have built townhomes. We have built duplexes. Not this order coming up, but when we go back to Fairview, we actually have a townhome complex going up. But yes, that's something that Nashville is definitely doing a lot of that, and we are too. It's going to be at least half of our portfolio. Yes. Nowadays, a lot longer than it used to. But with lumber being behind and plumbing and everything, and all the vendors being so far behind, and lumber, you just can't get it. It's just taking weeks and weeks longer than it used to take. But typically, we can build a house, believe it or not, in about 3 months. Now it's taking about 4 or 5. Yes, sir.
Are any of these communities that you're developing, do they have access to fiber-based technologies for internet, or what's kind of the story with what kind of bandwidth they're able to get access to typically?
We haven't got that far yet in terms of providing that. Once the house is sold, it becomes their house. So we actually don't have any. We are a mortgage holder of the house, but we don't. We used to have associations with folks that would put certain technologies in the house. It was a partnership we had in the past. We don't have that partnership anymore. I'm hoping we're trying to. You probably heard it on the news. We're trying to build a house, build homes with other nonprofits in Franklin called the Hill Project, and hopefully we'll have some technology going for those. That's in partnership with 3 other nonprofits. Mm-hmm. Yeah, obviously we struggled with going anyplace because of the pandemic. And a gentleman that works for us named Wayne, he has had some connections to Kenya. And instead of doing the traditional builds, because obviously everybody in the world is facing this pandemic, we did decide to go to Kenya, and we were able to do it and take a small group. Kenya was about half the size that we normally take. But instead of doing the traditional houses like we did, we actually went to we donated as part of our tithe to build bathrooms for an orphanage. So we built, and the bathrooms beforehand were just a little shack with a hole in the ground, no doors, nothing. And we actually built bathrooms for the orphanage, and they're just full-fledged bathrooms outside, nice system that goes with it. So no matter what, we'll try to do something. And it just goes to show you, I think we're very innovative affiliates in what we do. But yeah, that was something that was unique. We went to do that. But hopefully this time as we move forward, we'll be able to get back to the houses overseas. But they're fine. If anybody is interested in an overseas trip and wants to do something like that, it is so rewarding. Well, thank you. Here's a video real quick. It's Habitat High back in 2014. But I love this video. It's got so much personality. You'll see the kids. You'll see a little bit about what we do. And the kids are amazing on how much they can absorb and how articulate they are. Here it is. Thank you very much.
Habitat High is where 9 of the local high schools have gotten together. They've been fundraising, advocating for Habitat all school year. Now they can come out and actually build a house.
The thing I always appreciate about Habitat is you can directly see your efforts and like your fundraising. Like it's right here. It's a house. I guess it taught me like a lot about giving and how like best to serve others through that. Habitat really means a lot to me. I have the opportunity
to come help others while learning about construction.
There's a lot of people out there that don't really know what we do. So we want to spread the knowledge that we sell homes and we work with families and that we fundraise and that we build houses. And through that process and teaching these students that aspect of it, we hope that grows and it fosters something for the rest of their life.
You think of building your home and you think that it's going to be a sunny day and perfect weather and all that, and we come out here and it's snow on the ground and it's ice cold and freezing. But there's still people out here that's willing to work and willing to help make part of our dreams come true by dedicating their time, and it meant a lot and was very touching that not only is it super cold, but they still were out here with good hearts and happy and excited to be here just like we were.
The first day of this build, the volunteers came out and it was cold and it was snowing, and what we had was just a wooden floor on top of the crawl space. Stood the walls, we got the roof trusses up, we got the roof decking on, we got all the framing finished in one day. It was really an incredible thing to see together in a matter of 10 hours, take it from a slab to something that actually looked like a house.
So as you can tell, this right here is going to be our den. Okay. Right here's our dining room, and here's our kitchen. All right, Maddox, 18 months, so a year and a half, and this is where we get to sleep and play. Right on walls, probably. We're just overly excited just to have our own place, to have our home.
More involved in the community.
It's fun to come out here and bond with my classmates and get to know people and just help people who are in need. working with the family that is receiving the house. So you kind of get to learn a bit about them, you meet them.
Habitat High every year has a huge challenge to meet in fundraising. We try to raise around $70,000 each year to help fundraise the brick and mortar, the basic building supplies of the house.
I have written my own bio or my own personal letter on the first giving that has what I've enjoyed about Habitat.
Get to know Matthias. He's been here every weekend. He's always up moving around. He's always got a great attitude. You can just tell he's just happy to be here, and we're very appreciative of that.
This is where we will raise our son and our future kids, and where a lot of memories will be made.
It's remarkable. All the volunteers that put their time in, to build the foundation for our home.
Father, we pray with thanksgiving today.
Today's a big day. The house is done. We've engaged over 300 students on this build.
Welcome Mark and Lauren Pelfrey. We're here to dedicate their home.
Mark and Lauren agreed to purchase their Habitat home with a 30-year zero-interest mortgage. And I PS that Leslie Stones, the keys.
We dedicate this home as a place where they may be strengthened in the whole person, body, soul, and spirit.
Words can never truly express how grateful we are that each and every one of the volunteers chose every weekend to come out here and help build the foundation for our family. So thank you. Thank you for coming out here and working so hard for our family. And thank you for doing it with such loving and caring hearts.
Amazing organization. Thank you so much, Becket, for being here and for sharing some of the story with us, gracing us with your presence. We are we're thrilled to have you as part of our community for multiple reasons. We normally like to give a gift to our speakers. Typically that's a 2x4, but we can no longer afford it. So no, actually we do have gifts. They're just locked in a closet that we can't get into during COVID. So we'll send you something. Thank you again for everybody who's been able to attend either on Zoom or in person. A reminder, we are here for one more week at Spring Hill Suites. That following week we'll be at the new police headquarters, and then we'll be off for 1 week for Memorial Day, and then we're back to the Martin Center. So lots of change over the next few weeks. Make sure that you call Alan a few times over the next 7 days and remind him one more time here. Next week, we're here. The following week, we're in the police headquarters, touring there. We're off the next week. And then 4 weeks from today, we're back to the Martin Center. Should I make you repeat it? No? Okay, good. All right. Any other announcements before we adjourn today? Oh, look at this. Ray Little, newly reelected.
Yeah, hey. I just wanted to say I tried to get here in time for Happy Bucks, but I had to do an interview, Channel 2, and then had something at City Hall. And then I get over here, they've got everything blocked off. And I said, I need to get there. The guy's like, sorry, sir. I said, but I'm the mayor. I said, sorry, sir. I said, but I've got a meeting in there. I'm sorry, sir. I know Curry Andrews. Oh, let me get the cone out of your way. So, no, I wanted to thank all of y'all because everyone in this room serves, and it's an honor to serve our city. And it's so wonderful because so many of y'all support me with help, encouragement, financially, standing in front of polls and all. My Rotarian brothers and sisters are always a big part of why I'm able to serve Brentwood. And so I just wanted to thank you. And I did try to get here, but I was just glad I knew Curry.
Any other announcements before we? Oh, we do. Okay, I'm going to keep asking until we don't have any more. Larry Kane has something that he would like to share.
The pendulum has swung the other way, so we have about 7 or 8 lunches out here that need to be taken home and eaten, and some salads. So please help yourself to taking something home tonight. Thank you.
Anyone else have anything for the good of the club before we adjourn? All right. In that case, stay safe, stay healthy, and keep serving.
What are you doing on your phone?
I'm sorry, I left a gentleman alone in my apartment, so I'm tracking him to make sure he leaves.
You're tracking him?
Yeah.